Hello, everybody. This is Gabby Panetta, creator of the Natural Anxiety Solution. And today I have the pleasure of introducing one of the beautiful women that I got to work with recently, Lorena Reyes. And Lorena, thank you so much for doing this and welcome. I want
Thank
to
you.
talk to you. I wanted to ask you, first of all, congratulations on everything that you've been able to achieve. I am so proud of you. I am so blessed to have worked with you on this and to continue guiding you on your path. So tell me a little bit. First of all, what is it that you do for a living and what were you facing before you found me?
Yes. So first and foremost, it's an honor for me to be here talking to you because I consider you now a friend, and I'm very thankful for all you've done for me. So it's always a pleasure talking to you. Um, and yes, so I am a person that does a lot of things, and I love everything I do. But the main things that I do, I work for Air Canada in sales. And I also have a small dog grooming business that I've been running for over 14 years. And I do a little bit of coaching on the side for athletics. And I'm a full-time mom, which is probably the hardest jobs out there for all those moms out there that can probably relate to me. But yeah, that's what I do for a living.
That's awesome. And yes, you fill many hats, you fill them well. And what is it? First of all, how did you find me? How did you come about finding me? And what were you struggling with before this?
So it's funny because the way I wasn't really looking for you or somebody that were doing the job that you wonderfully do. I was talking to a friend that we have in common, and she was telling me about you, how amazing you are, and I'm like, oh, I said, well, that sounds like somebody that I can probably, refer to. And she's like, yeah, you should, you just should contact her and talk to her because she's amazing. So that's how I got your number and I got introduced to you and your work. But it was just those amazing things that you're not really looking for, but they're putting your way at the right moment,
Great.
right? So that's how I found you.
Okay. And before we started working together, what is it that you were dealing with? What were part of the struggles?
So when I first found you, I was already doing some inner work, as you know, and it was doing pretty good. It was really helping a lot, but I was still not able to pinpoint like the real source of my anxiety and my fears and that sense of overwhelmment that I had. I just couldn't pinpoint it. So I feel like I needed somebody to just kind of guide me through where to go to kind of like dig it out because it was really, really deep. And I think a lot of our traumas and our struggles are pretty deep, right? So we do need somebody to help us through that journey and through
Right.
that path of search. So that's basically what I was dealing with. Yeah, fear, anxiety, and just a lot of overwhelmment. And at the time also I was going through a separation. So I was also dealing with that transition from being a wife and living with somebody for so long to being on my own. So it was really hard to cope with those two situations happening at the same time. So yeah.
How did it affect your life?
Um, well, it just it froze me. Like a lot of the fears and a lot of the issues that I was dealing with, it just kept me sometimes in my couch, unable to get up from my bed. It was very hard to get up in the mornings and just face the day, because you felt like, oh my God, you felt like you were so small and not strong enough. And it was just a hustle, it was just this heaviness in my body. Oh my God, here's another day that I have to deal with this sensation. And am I going to be able to do it? Am I going to be able to, be a good person, a good mom, a good, you know, business person? It was affecting me in that way, in the sense that it would immobilize me, like freeze me.
Wow.
And I would procrastinate a lot for that reason.
Okay.
I would just let it be and just stay in my little shell and not move because I felt like that was a safe place, but really it wasn't, because it would make me feel more unworthy and more anxious just being still in that spot. So yeah.
How long did you struggle with it for before we started working together? Approximately.
A lot of years. I mean, it took me a lot of years to realize what I was dealing with, but I guess me being conscious about it, probably like a couple of years, 2, 3 years,
Okay.
which is when I started doing the work of, meditation, trying to be present in the moment.
Mhm.
So it's been a whole journey. So you kind of were like the last piece of my puzzle that just fit perfectly, you know? Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about, and I know, I mean, you mentioned it, we got to the root, then we did the work, and then you got to celebrate. So what were some of the aha moments for you, either during the work or after we worked together?
So I feel like I know for a fact the first aha moment was probably like maybe our second or third session where I really realized because my main thing was fear. I
Mm,
feel like from the fear, everything else just kind of like came out. That really that fear came from my earlier years in my childhood,
yeah,
right? I have amazing parents. I love them to death. They did the best they could, but a lot of the upbringing was a lot of fear instilled in us and my sisters, like, of lack,
mhm,
of not having enough, um, and not being able to do things because we didn't have enough, you
right,
know?
yeah,
So that was like an aha moment. Oh my God, yeah, you know what? That's where it came from. And I'm not there anymore. I'm here and I'm able to change that now.
yeah,
So once I got a hold of where it came from, that's
mhm,
when I was able to, okay, now let's work on it. Because when you don't know what's causing it, you
right,
can't really work on it,
right,
right? So for me, that was a big step. And
mhm,
don't get me wrong, obviously we're humans and I'm still struggling a little bit. I have my good days and bad days, but now I'm so prepared to handle it. Like if it comes at me, I'm like, okay, I see you, it's fine, but let's move on. I have now the tools to actually work through it and overcome it instead of just going in my little shell and like just like, oh, why is this happening to me? Why am I so scared? So that was my first aha moment,
mhm,
the one that really comes to mind, because from there I feel like everything just became easier with
right,
the work that you do,
right,
right? 'Cause we had a few sessions. I think we had probably like 7 or 8, right?
right.
So yeah, it just got better from there.
Awesome. Would you say that you now feel in control?
100%. I do
Confident?
get I feel a lot in control. I don't have um my fears are, I mean, from 1 to 10, my fears are probably like 1.5.
Right,
Um and
right,
with the work I came to the realization that my fear is something that it's always going to be with me to just remind me to stay focused and to align myself. It kind of brings me back, right?
right,
Because it's something like you have to be fearful or sad to be able to realize, oh my God, I need to come back and be
right,
aligned with myself, right? Because if you're always happy, you don't know, like you're not, you don't know where you're standing, right?
right,
So that's how I see my fear now. When I feel it, when I'm anxious, which it really does develop, and I'm sure with a lot of people, it develops in a physical way, or in a physical pain.
mhm,
I kind of like get like called back. I'm like, okay, you're feeling this. You need to do your breaths, maybe stay still for a few minutes, relax, and I align myself. Um, but yeah, I feel that that's
do-
been amazing to be able to have those tools and feel in control. I don't have any more my what's it called, what's it called, the sabotage syndrome, or the
the
what's that term I'm looking for?
imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome, that one. So that little guy that used to be like this is now really small because we're human, so it comes along sometimes, but it's there's definitely a lot more control, and I can tackle the day, and if I get out of alignment or out of touch, I'm able to bring myself back and
Beautiful.
get on the work again. So
Would you say that you're
yeah,
confident?
I'm a lot more confident, and I feel like I'm a lot more capable
Yeah,
of doing a lot of things that before I never thought I could do.
right.
So I feel a lot more secure in myself, I guess.
Awesome.
And I love myself a little bit more. Yeah, a lot more, I should say.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, my next question is, would you say that you're able to focus on solutions? And you talked about focusing and refocusing. Would you say that you're focused on solutions versus worst case scenarios?
Yes, that's a big thing too. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, because before I used to be like, if I'm dealing with something, I'm dealing in the actual problem or the emotion.
Mhm.
Now I tend to I acknowledge the problem, or I acknowledge the situation or the hard emotion, but then I'm okay. Let me see what can I do to actually tackle this or get rid of it or fix it. So I would say it's more solution oriented now, my thinking, as opposed to focusing on the problem, which is big. It's a game changer.
It is
So it is because it
awesome.
gives you a different perspective of how to behave, right?
Right.
So yeah.
Awesome. I'm so proud of you. What would you
Thank
say
you.
to anyone who is looking to overcome anxiety and being sort of wondering, should I be reaching out?
Mhm.
What's your recommendation for anyone that's kind of looking to overcome anxiety?
So first of all, I want to say, even if you don't have anxiety, I think they should come see you and do the work, because it's not only about getting rid of the anxiety or fears, but it's also about going inside, going inwards, and finding your alignment. But yes, people that deal with anxiety like I did and fears, either if you're doing some kind of work already, internal work or not, I feel like having a person like you with the work that you do guide you through, it's a huge, huge game changer. Because sometimes when you're doing the work, which you should do the work on your own,
Mhm.
you just get to a point where you're just stuck, like I was, where it's like, okay, where do I go from here? Because now I feel like I'm aligned myself, but there's still this happening. Where else do I do? Right. So I hugely recommend doing your work and coming to see you, because you really are like a guide. That's how I see you, like a very, and so you're so easygoing to work with. It's just like you're chatting with your friends. So it makes it really, because I don't want people to see this as a therapy or like a session, because it's more like conversating with a friend where you feel very comfortable, and then you're able to follow instructions, and you just guide us through, right? And along the road we see like the little things that come up. I'm like, oh my God, you find things that along the way that really help your healing, right? And it helps the solutions come out so much faster with somebody guiding you through. So
Thank you
yeah.
so much. That would I feel so good. I'm so proud of everything that you've accomplished, and I am also grateful for the friendship that we've developed. I thank you so much. So, if anybody's wondering about how to overcome anxiety and really step into your power, go to thenaturalanxietysolution.com and let's chat. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Gabby. Take care. Bye bye, guys.